Hi, everyone. Thank you for being on time this week, and I really appreciate it. So last week, we have talked about how you can manage solid organic waste. And today, we're going to move on to a different type of waste, which is plastic. Our learning objective of today is that after this class, you will be able to explain why is it hard to manage plastic waste. So as usual, I'm going to ask you to participate and then answer some questions using Mentimeter. And I will tell you when to do that. Well, we can start now actually. So in case you have forgotten how to do so, just use your laptop or you can also use your smartphone to go to menti.com, the address above here, and then use the code 828585. So again, it's menti.com and then 828585. All right. So once you have done that, you will see a button that says ask a question. And throughout the entire class, whenever you have any question you would like to ask, feel free to just press that button and then type in your question. I should receive a notification that somebody wants to ask something, and I'll try to respond to it as soon as possible. Okay, so as a starter, let's just do a little warm-up activities using Menti. So if you haven't done so, go to menti.com and then use the code 828585. Right, so here is the instruction. Look around you and then list all items that are made of plastic. So again, look around you and then list all items that are made of plastic. Go ahead and type in your answer. You can answer as much as possible. Oh, great. We have a lot of responses already. I see water bottle, yes, most common. And then pen, I have a marker, it's also made of plastic. And then Nintendo Switch, ooh. Anyone have been playing Animal Crossing? I've been playing that since March, still it's not bored. And also remote. I also have AC remote here. It is made of plastic. We have speakers, chairs, basket, book cover, computer. Well, the main point is that there are indeed a lot of different types of items that are made of plastic. And that's just based on what you see while you're sitting down right now, right? So the question is, have you ever wondered, once you're done with those, what happens to these plastic items once I'm done using them? Well, to answer that question, I'm going to tell you a story. So here goes a tale of 4 plastic bags. They were born from the same place, yet once they're used, they're going to live a very different fate. The first plastic bag gets thrown away and then washed away into the ocean, where it will float for years after years. The second plastic bag is thrown into the landfill, where similar to the first plastic bag, it will remain there for a very, very long time. The third plastic bag gets collected with other garbage by the locals, and then they were burned. During the burning, toxic chemicals and then smoke are released into the air. Now the fourth plastic bag, somehow it managed to find other plastic bags that are similar to it, and then they were all molded together and then turned into a new plastic bag that is sold for lower price because of its lower quality. Now, not a lot of plastic bags out there are this lucky. So, moral of the story is, this is indeed what is happening to your plastic waste. So, a study by Geyer in 2017 shows that globally, only less than 20% of the entire plastic waste actually gets recycled, while 20% is incinerated, or it means it's burned down, and a majority of them ends up in landfill or the ocean. So let's take a look at what is the problem with that. Right, so this is a picture of a typical landfill, which is pretty much the open dumping system where you throw out all of the plastic, bury them in soil, and then keep piling it on and on. So this picture is taken from Bantar Gebang landfill, which is the place where all of the garbage from Jakarta is brought over to, and then they just pile it on and buried it there. And I've been there myself. I got lucky. I had the opportunity to go to Bantar Gebang last year. And even from far away, you can see mountains, like not piles, mountains of waste, of garbage, and they look shiny. So once I got closer to the landfill area, I realized that they're actually shiny because the place is filled with plastic bags. So it's just sunlight hitting the plastic bags, and that's why they look shiny. And if you think about the fate, what happens to these plastic bags? Let's review back a little bit to what we talked about last week, where organic waste tends to degrade quite easily in the environment. But that is not the same for plastic. So, for example, there's a study from the U.S. National Park Foundation that says it takes 50 to 100 years for a plastic bag to degrade. 50 to 100 years. That's a really long time. I'm not even 50 yet, and I felt like I've lived for a really, really long time. So, you can imagine what happens if you keep producing a lot of plastic waste, but there's none that gets degraded, almost none. At some point, it will just keep piling on. And this is a reality. This is actually happening in real life. So there was a study that was released last year, 2019, from the District Office of Environmental Affairs that shows they predict that by 2021, which is next year, Bantar Gebang landfill will no longer be able to handle more waste from Jakarta. They simply reach their overcapacity. So can you imagine if that actually happens, where will our waste go? That's quite concerning, right? Now, a lot of people think that recycling is a good solution for a plastic waste problem. But then again, if we go back to the previous data I showed you early in this class, less than 20% gets recycled. What about the rest? So now we wonder, why is it so low? Why is that a problem? Okay, to answer that, I want you, please go to menti.com and then take a look at these two pictures. Type up your response. What do these items have in common? Again, what do these items have in common? Okay, I see that two people have responded. Let's see what they say. All right. Yeah, some people say it's made of plastic and for kids. Colorful but wasteful plastic. Created with plastic and for kids. Yeah, so it seems like there's an agreement between you guys that that's true. Both items are made of plastic and both items can be used for kids. That's correct. But then there's also one more thing they have in common. They both cannot be recycled. So you might be asking me, why, Mesa? Why did you say that? So let's take a look at the item on the left first. So the juice box here. The juice box here, the juice cup contains a lid, a cup, and also a straw, right? And if you just look at the characteristic, how they feel when you touch them, they're different. Can anyone tell me what's the difference?
Hi, Eric here.
Yeah.
From what I can see, it seems like the lid is thinner and the cup is thicker.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Eric. That's a good point. So the lid, it's like a film, right? And you can pull it apart, it will break. And meanwhile, the cup is more sturdy. It's stronger because it has to hold the liquid. and you cannot like bend it as easily compared to the lid. Well, that's because they're made of different types of plastic, and the straw is also made of different types of plastic. So because they all behave differently, they have different characteristics, then it means they will have to be treated differently as well. You cannot just expect to melt everything together and then, come up with a new cup. That just won't work because they all have different type of plastic in it. Oh, I see in the corner that somebody is asking a question. Let me see. This is an interesting question. Why use different materials? Why not use the same type of plastic for everything? Good point, right? Why does it have to be different? Why can't it be just one? Let's look at the picture again. Here, for the case of the juice box. So you see how the lid has a picture of fruits on it? Well, the problem is if you try to print out the plastic that we use to make the cup part, like the bottom part, it won't work. It's not printable. So if you want to put in like your brand, your logo on the lid, then you'll have to use a different type of material that can hold ink better. And that's the reason why, that one cup of juice requires different types of plastic. I hope that answers your question. Right. So let's move on to the one on the right, right? The Hello Kitty toy. So just by looking at it, I think we all can agree that it's one type of plastic. It's sturdy, it's hard. And if you look at the tail and the back, it's kind of hidden, like this part. It's a mermaid, right? So the Hello Kitty tail, I have that toy. A Hello Kitty tail can actually move like this, just like a mermaid tail, which means that it's attached with screws. And it also has some machineries component, right? Some mechanics in it. So in theory, if you want to recycle this Hello Kitty toy, you'll need an efficient way to take it apart and then just, take out the plastic component and recycle it. So this is something that requires a lot of effort and a lot of time. And if you are in the recycling industry, it simply just doesn't make sense economically. So that's why the Hello Kitty, just like the plastic cup, cannot be recycled. All right, I think that's a lot of information, right? To help you out and think a little bit more about what we have learned so far, I'm going to split you into 3 groups in the breakout rooms, and in your group, discuss this. Why is it hard to manage plastic waste? So this is the same question that I gave you early on in our learning objectives. Again, discuss, why is it hard to manage plastic waste? As you do that, please type in your answer using Menti so that we can all see it later after the discussion is done. And in addition to that, I would also like to give an opportunity for anyone who would like to get extra credit. So if after this you can explain to everyone else what your group discussed, then I'm going to give you the extra point. Okay? So go have fun, talk to your friends. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do so. Here we go. All right, welcome back, everyone. It seems like you have done a lot of work here. There's a lot of responses. I'm so excited. So, like I promised before, anyone wants that extra credit and explain what their group talked about?
Hi, Sean here.
Yeah, sure, Sean.
Hi. From my group, we talked about how plastic waste is hard to degrade, so it piles up, right?
Oh.
And then not all kinds of plastic can be recycled.
Those are very 2 good points. So plastic is something that is super tough. It cannot be degraded that easily. But at the same time, if you want to recycle it, not everything can be recycled. Any other points?
Yeah, Jamie here.
Yes, Jamie.
yeah, our group talked about how separating the plastics based on their type is very difficult.
It's just like what we talk about when we look at the juice and the Hello Kitty toy, right? It's really hard if you
Yeah.
need to take them apart and then like recycle them by the plastic type. Yeah, those are very, very good points, you guys. Thank you so much for Sean and Jamie for sharing. And I think that pretty much summarized what our learning objectives of the day. So why is it hard to manage plastic waste? You got it, exactly. Now that we have talked about challenges, we have talked about problems, next week we are going to discuss the solution. So before I close the session, would anyone like to ask any question? No one? Okay. Well, if you end up thinking about something later, go ahead and submit your video question on Flipgrid. Just use our account from last week. And then if you need immediate answer, if you need it to be fast, then you can always email me. You have my email in the syllabus, right? Thank you so much, guys, for your participation. And I hope you all stay healthy. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.